This week at the grocery store, there were signs that the strawberries were not in stock because of issues of shortages of weather, of supply chain. It's been one thing after another for the last 2 years. I have 6 children to take care of, and I just don't want to have to rely on other people and other systems and other things that much to make sure that my children have food to eat. So we are taking things into our own hands. We moved out onto property last summer, and along with planting our annual vegetable garden, which I love to do, we've got our milk cow, we have our pigs, egg-laying chickens and meat chickens, and we are planting an orchard. However, growing soft fruits is well known to be one of the best returns on investment. Growing them at home as a perennial crop that comes back year after year, and most of the time just spreads, and the more years that most of these plants go on, the bigger the harvest they're going to have each year. So today I'm going to show you what we've been planting, and I'll give you an update on what's going on in my greenhouse, and then I'll show you a fun project that we've been working on for Jeremy, which is a shooting backstop. And at the very end, I'm going to show you a real fun family dinner that we've been enjoying lately as well. This company, I ordered for them before. I like to try and find a place that is local to us. You know, these guys are in Indiana, so that's obviously within our state. And if you get plants that are grown close to where you are, as opposed to grown, you know, in California and then shipped out to where you are, they're going to be more acclimatized to growing in your climate. So I'll show you what I got today. I got my second group of strawberries for this house. So these ones are keepsake strawberries. We planted our keepsake strawberries just down from our all-star strawberries. But honestly, these keepsake strawberries look way better than the other ones. Next, I got a blueberry collection. And one of the other fun things about this company is that they have collections of fruits. And so this is the all-season collection of blueberries. And so they're made to go together so that they all pollinate each other and things. But then this particular grouping is the idea of having fruit throughout the season and not just having fruit at one point in time. So it is Blue Ray, Duke, Elliott, and Nelson. We are digging a hole for each blueberry and putting the soil in the wheelbarrow, mixing it up with some more acid peat moss. Peat moss is acidic for helping blueberries. And we're also going to add some fast-acting sulfur, lowers soil pH for acid-loving plants. So that is going to help the blueberries. The way you plant blueberries is to sort of fill up the planting hole halfway, and then soak it with water and let that water slowly settle everything down, and then add the remaining soil on top and give it a good watering in as well. And then I also got a collection of grapevines, and it's a collection of 3 grapes, and they are all table grapes, and it's a all color. One of them is white green, one of them is red, and then it's got the purple Concord. I got was these Blue X tubes, but these are really good for getting your grapevines established. So I'm going to be using them at this house. We got the grapes planted in the Blue X tubes, and they're over on the side of their house in their own special area. I got some currants and some gooseberries, and we're not as familiar with those in America. I think, you know, in like the UK, they are more familiar with currants and things, but when you can get something to grow well and easily, well, then you can figure out, you know, all the great ways of using it to make jellies and pies and that sort of thing. Actually, I have one more thing. Where is it? Let's see if we can find it.
So cool.
Here we go. I'm going to put this over by my greenhouse in our kind of herb garden area. So it may be hard to visualize at this point in time, but this is our soft fruits orchard. Actually, right here is where we've planted asparagus, and that isn't coming up yet. So I hope we can see that coming up soon. And then there's a blank row in here, but then this row is where we planted the gooseberries and the currants. And then this row has the blueberries. And I was reading that rhubarb is also acidic and likes is a good interplanting with blueberries. So I think we have one rhubarb. I think I'll put it out here, and then we will get some more as well. And then this right here is where we have our strawberries. And then down here, it looks kind of puny from this viewpoint, but here's where our raspberries are. This is about a dozen raspberry plants that we had that survived from transplanting from our old house, and they are getting ready to blossom and give us some fruit this spring. So that is really exciting. Last week was Jeremy's birthday, and we had been planning a little surprise for Jeremy for his birthday. If you saw our video on what we were looking for in a homestead property, one of the things Jeremy was interested in having is a shooting backstop to practice marksmanship. So on this property, we had talked about setting that up on the far side of the creek. And back there, we actually found this kind of big pile of old tires, and we thought that would be the perfect skeleton for creating the backstop. The kids and I had scoped out a couple of random tires on the side of the road that we went and picked up as well, and we rolled all the tires to one spot, stacked them up to create the kind of skeleton. Then we rounded up soil on the front of it to make it more solid. On Jeremy's birthday, we took him out back with the BB shooter and showed him our handiwork and let him do some finishing touches. We got him this gong target as well and set it all up and let Jeremy give the whole setup a test run. Got it! Okay. Good job! All right, Peter's turn. Okay, remember, don't put your finger on the trigger till you're ready to shoot, right, Peter? Is he okay to go left? Poor kid. It was a good surprise for Jeremy and a good beginning to what he wants to see going on here. That was a lot of fun for us as a family. Unfortunately, we went back inside and over the next 24 hours found 5 ticks. So we're really missing our lost guineas at this point. I'm going to give you an update on some things growing in my greenhouse right now. We are very close to our last annual frost date, so it's almost time to get things out, but I have tender things waiting in here that just aren't ready to go out yet. I've succeeded in killing a lot of seedlings already this season. This is a tray I just picked up from the local nursery, and the most exciting thing that they had was celery. I'm very excited about this celery. I grew celery in Texas from seed, and I haven't been able to get it to start from seed since then. And so I wonder if celery is one of those things that just like you have to have really fresh seed. I bought a bunch of peppers, mostly different types of hot peppers. So I've got quite a few different kinds of hot peppers. I did end up with quite a few. These are the orange sun pepper seedlings that I talked about in my seed haul video. So these are a bell pepper, a sweet bell pepper, and so I'm very excited about those. So I had these sweet bell peppers, but then I bought a bunch of spicy peppers and then some snacking peppers for my kids. Also from the nursery, I picked up Joy Choy and some red cabbage and some bib lettuce. I'm gonna get these out here soon, but we're having a rainy day today, so the soil's too wet to dig in today, but those can go out right away. And I killed my whole first tray of flowers too. So it was very frustrating, but oh well, that's what happens sometimes. So we picked out these snapdragons. They look beautiful. And I will get my warm weather flowers going here soon as well. These are farther behind than I would want them to be, but they still can't go out for another like 2 or 2.5 weeks. So it's okay. You really don't want your tomatoes to be so far along when you plant them that they end up with transplant shock. So this is going to be just fine. These are working on their first set of leaves. The peppers have their second set of true leaves. So it's not a bad place to be right now. And I've got some other things going on in here. These ones are bachelor's buttons, and then some vining nasturtiums that are okay to start indoors, and I have some mounding nasturtiums that I will start out of doors. I will just start from seed. I got a couple little lupines to get started, and my lupines are coming back in my fruit tree guilds, so I'm excited to have a couple more to add to my fruit tree guilds. Got a couple of coleus just for decorative flowers. And then these are some other tomatoes. I did go ahead and buy a black cherry tomato. I've heard a lot of people say they like this variety, and I went ahead and bought a start that I will put out earlier in. I have a water wall to put it in, so it can go out soon. I'll transplant that right away. I'll transplant that right away with a water wall. Then I started some loofah, so they have some good roots going on. Really, I should thin these down to one each, because you don't need 4 loofah. I grew loofah in Texas before, and I still have loofah that I am using from growing the loofah in Texas. So I'm growing these along with my friend Alex from Aprons and Overalls. And then right here, I have started 2 dahlia tubers, and this one's doing great. This one actually was growing and then got too hot one day and kind of got crispy. But you can see it's coming back, and it has some more purple buds right here that are coming back as well. So I am still waiting on these sweet potatoes. It's like, I have seen people say, oh, my sweet potatoes were sprouting like 2 weeks later. And I had them in the dark for a while, and because I had heard someone say to keep them in the dark. But they didn't do anything in the dark. And so then I've had them in the light since then, in the sunshine since then. And we finally are to the point. I picked one up the other day, and it seems like it had I can't remember if it was this one or this one, but it had a single root growing out of it. And I was like, okay, like this one still pops right out. I don't see any roots growing on that one. But the other ones are feeling kind of like they maybe give me a little bit of resistance. So I have hope that they will send forth some sprouts soon. But, I mean, it's been weeks and weeks and weeks. But we're still waiting. Hopefully we get some sweet potato starts. This is everything I have hanging out in my greenhouse right now until we get past our last frost date.
I don't know. But behold, the lawnmower, after a long winter's break, lives. We might need to do some tuning, but you know, that's pretty good.
We plan on utilizing the cows to eat most of the grass on our property, but there's a little bit of edge work and things that need to be done with the lawnmower. Just on a whim, I thought I'd see if the cows were interested in eating the grass clippings.
Is that yummy? Yummy grass clippings?
Turns out they are. Not all of my kids are real good milk drinkers, so I've been trying to utilize the milk better in ways to get the whole family to get the great nutrition that is being provided from this homestead dairy. I found mozzarella cheese to be a really useful cheese. After I make cheese, I always take the whey out and feed it to the pigs. I figure turning that whey into bacon is a really good use of it. Tonight for dinner, I'm gonna make stromboli. I have some pizza crust that I froze the other night when we had this like a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna use some homemade pesto. And if you want my nut-free recipe for that, I will link to the video. I'm gonna use a little bit of this lemon cheese that I made because it's getting old, but then I also made homemade mozzarella, salami, pepperoni, mushrooms. But these are fun because they're so adaptable and you can put whatever you like in them, and my kids are really enjoying eating them. I made the second stromboli with ranch and chicken, and I would have thrown in some bacon if I had any, but I didn't have any today. Thanks for joining me at the farmhouse today. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button before you leave.